Now, for the first leg of Monday Night Football, we have the Buccaneers traveling to Detroit to Ford Field to take on the Detroit Lions, coming off of a really tough loss, um, an angry loss, if you will. Guy like Brian Branch, sheepish for old Tide because he kind of didn't make us look very good, but he had a few choice words and a few choice fists at the end of that game last week, which is going to keep him out, which is a big loss for the Lions defense for sure. An already questionable secondary. And they're going to be facing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here, which Baker Mayfield, is he currently the MVP favorite? I mean, is that safe to say at this point? With what he's been able to do, seems like every single week he's finding a way to lead his team to a win, even in unlikely circumstances. So this is going to be a great game. I'm really excited for this one. Um, Christian, do you have any thoughts right off the rip of where you're leaning in this game? Um, Big NFC matchup here between Buccaneers and Lions. Possible number one seed implications. What do we think?
Yeah, I think this could definitely be a preview of the NFC Championship game this year. Uh, yeah, Baker Mayfield, I think, objectively has to be the favorite for MVP, uh, especially given the fact that he doesn't have, a lot of his weapons with him. Hasn't had Bucky Irving in the last couple games. Uh, hasn't had McMillan, Jalen McMillan all year, on top of Chris Godwin and Mike Evans for most of the season so far. Just lost Igbuka. Um, and then offensively, I mean, at one point, Wirfs was out. So he's done such a great job with a lot of guys out. He's got to be the MVP favorite right now. Um, Bucks have a really good thing going. Josh Brizard has been a revelation at offensive coordinator. Didn't think they'd be able to replace not just Dave Canales, not just Liam Cohen, uh, to replace both of those guys back to back years. Just goes to show you what a good organization Tampa Bay really is. So shout out to Tampa Bay. With that being said, I do believe the Detroit Lions are the favorite. They deserve to be the favorite in this game. They deserve to win this game. Um, I think physicality here is going to be interesting. I think pretty even matchup of teams. I like the skill players in this game a lot better on Detroit than I do Tampa Bay because of the injuries. Uh, but it's going to be an interesting matchup between this offense and Todd Bowles' defense. Vita Vea has been playing out of his mind all year with going up against a new, young interior offensive line. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. How Glasgow uh, does against Vita at center this year. We'll see how that goes. Uh, but Laporta, I think, is going to be the key matchup here. I think he's going to score a touchdown. He's going to have a big day. Um, Levante David is great, Hall of Famer, still an elite blitzer. Uh, I don't know if they have guys that can match up with Laporta, uh, and I think he's going to dominate this game.
So you got the Lions. All right. Keep
Yep.
down Baker Mayfield. What are your thoughts, Turtle?
Yeah,
I was going to say, like, Christian, you hit the nail on the head. The same thing that I was thinking. So, I mean, it's PFF, so I mean, somewhat of a grain of salt. But Tampa is 20th, ranked 20th in coverage metrics for their linebackers and 28th for their safeties in 2025 for this year so far. So again, the matchups with Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown in the middle of the field. I think that the Lions are going to be able to exploit that. And look, if Mike Evans isn't back for the Bucks, I know Baker Mayfield's put the superhero cape on all year this year, but when Sterling Shepard and Tez Johnson, I don't know who else are going to be trotting out there to catch footballs. At some point, I think that's going to catch up to you against a good team like Detroit. So I also like Detroit -5.5 here to bounce back. If Detroit had won maybe against the Chiefs, I could see it being a potential letdown spot. But after they drop that game, I think they're gonna have there's going to be some salt in the wound. I think they're going to come out and grab this game. So I kind of like the Lions minus 5.5 as well. By the way, I will finally admit I was wrong. I shouldn't have been fading Baker Mayfield last week. If you guys were curious, Baker Mayfield is now at plus 300. He is the second favorite to win the MVP, only behind Patrick Mahomes at plus 200, which is still, in my opinion, egregious. I think they need to flip those. But Baker Mayfield was 9-1 last week when we talked about it. So he moved all the way up to 3-1. Should have bet him at 9-1. That looks like
I
value.
should have. I was the only believer, but we'll see if I'm the only believer
It's not
this
that I
week.
wasn't a believer. I just didn't think he's going to win the game last week. He's just, dude, the guy is an animal. I'll say that. The way he just scrambles and just breaks tackles and stuff,
So fun to watch.
he's great. He really is. But at
Easily,
some point,
easily
So
man,
could win 12 games this year. Easily.
yeah, but I guess apparently not this week. We'll see.
This
I'm
is
gonna be rolling with the
one of the few
I'm gonna be
losses I
rolling with
see on the book.
yeah.
Gonna be rolling with the Bucks this week. Baker's done it without top level wide receivers, with backup wide receivers, and at every turn, when you think he's gonna lose, when you doubt him this season, he's been able to turn around and put a great game together, put a game winning drive together, whatever you need from him, and it really doesn't depend on who he's throwing to. He's been willing this team to victory. I think also an underrated part of this is going to be Tampa Bay's rush defense is one of the best in the league. You can count on Todd Bowles for that as well. So I think that, yeah, I think they'll be able to contain what Detroit does best. They'll be able to at least hold up against the run and force Jared Goff to beat you. So as long as they're able to do that, and you turn this into a shootout between Baker Mayfield against a debilitated Brian Branchless Lions defense, it really doesn't matter to me who he's throwing the ball to. I'm going to be rolling with Baker. 2025 Baker Mayfield. I'm not going to start betting against him today. Give me the Bucks to cover and win outright on the road. Huge win to keep a magical season going for him here. Mike, what are your thoughts? Are you going to leave me on an island here going with the Bucks, or are you going to
No,
go with the
dude,
Lions at home?
I'm with the Bucks. With
Yeah.
branch out Baker Mayfield. I mean, it's a high flying offense right now. Detroit's going to be without possibly. I mean, we'll see. What the final injury report goes. But Terry Arnold, Avonte Maddox, Lauren Strickland, and Kirby Joseph just left in the Sunday night game. Like, I mean, it was not what you like to see if you're a fan of Detroit. At this point, like you said, Baker's been playing like an MVP. They've been carving up defenses, no matter what, dude. No matter what, the guy is a playmaker. He's
Without
playing
Luka.
like, yeah, exactly. Without Mbuka, he's missing key players. He's missing Bucky. He's missing Chris Godwin. He's missing Mike Evans, who might be back this week. Mike Evans might be back this week. So I think that makes Brian Branch's absence even bigger, Christian. I think it makes it even bigger because you got Baker Mayfield, dude. You got Baker Mayfield. No, with the win over San Francisco, like, you're riding high, dude. This is a great team on the offensive side of the ball. Defense, I got questions. I like the over in this game because I do think Detroit's going to be able to move the ball. I like what I've seen out of Amon-Ra St. Brown. I love what I've seen out of Jameson Williams. I love what I've seen out of Sam Laporta, and especially from the tandem of running backs. But I see the Buccaneers taking care of business here. I do like the Bucks to cover and win this one. Sunday Night Football, or was it Monday Night Football? Sunday Night Football? Tuesday Night Football. Throw us back to COVID. Tuesday Night Football. No. Yeah, no. I expect Tampa to be able to take advantage of a depleted Lions defense, and because you can't hold up like that if Baker is going to play how he has been playing. Give me the Bucks here.
I'm interested to see the Goodecki. If Goodecki's good to go, the Goodecki Hutchinson matchup should be really fun.
All right, and
Agreed.
just in case anyone's wondering, when Mike says throw us back to COVID, he just means Tuesday Night Football. He doesn't mean literally throwing us
I
back
don't. Yeah, I don't
to the
mean.
pandemic. I like that little turn of phrase. It was an interesting choice. But with that, do we have any last minute thoughts on this one?
Over is 52.5. That is a high. That is a fun number. That is a fun number that part of me wants to take under on because I feel like the fun thing would be to take over, and I just want to make some money because I can see the Bucks offense flopping if there's a lot of people banged up, and I don't know. That's a high number though. I mean, you're expecting that game. You're like, I wonder what the Lions team total is at with the total of 52.5. Lions are, let's just call it 6-point favorites if we round up. I mean, you're expecting the game to be what, 30 to 24 or so, like 29 to. I mean, that's a lot of points.
Not much room for stops by any defense there.
No.
Just be consistent scoring throughout the entire game. But